But the first thing that occurs when we experience trauma or traumatic events is what is called disassociation. So disassociation is when our mind or our brain disconnects from our body. So our stress response system activates this. Oftentimes this is experienced as numbing. And it is a defense mechanism to help us to avoid the pain that we are experiencing in that moment. And so it is an immediate neurological alteration, but it is something that has long-term effects. When our mind and our body disconnect, that has lingering effects in our ability to connect, have our mind or our brain connect with our body. And the more disassociation we have throughout our lives, the less and less connection we have within our body. In fact, there's a really great book on all of this. It's called The Body Keeps the Score. And in this book, the author talks about it's not uncommon for him to have patients where he will have them close their eyes and he will put a key in their hand. And he asks them, can you figure out what that is? And they can't figure it out. Like that's the effect that this can have, is that it inhibits our ability to connect really with ourselves and with our physical body. So that's disassociation. So that's the first thing that occurs. That's the first domino. The second domino that occurs is what is called disintegration. You see, this is our mind. We have three brain regions in our mind: our reptilian, our mammalian, and our human mind, or the new brain as it's labeled here. And we have got long-range neural connections that span across these major brain regions, and their job is to help these brain regions work effectively together. Now, when trauma occurs, or the dominoes are occurring, we have disassociated. And what also goes on when we're disassociating is there becomes a disintegration of these long-range neural connections, such that these bottom levels of our brain, the reptilian and our mammalian brains, are operating on overdrive. They are really sensitive to threats. And our human brain, or this new brain, can't step in and regulate these, our reptilian and our mammalian brains running rampant. Let me give you an example of this. So this is from my wife. My wife has a couple of mean older brothers who, when she was about 3 or 4, had her watch the movie It. And this has now scarred her for life. She will, like if she's looking on her phone and a picture of a clown pops up on Facebook, she will throw her phone across the room. It is her just natural response. It is her reptilian and her mammalian brain operating on overdrive. And because of this, she doesn't have the capacity as of now to have her human brain step in and say, look, you are not in danger. This is just a phone. And in fact, it is just a picture. It cannot harm you in any way, right? But she, because of the trauma that she's been through, that regulation isn't occurring. And what's really interesting is that regardless of the degree to which our mind is integrated, we could always integrate it more. And wherever we're currently at, we have a tendency to think of, oh yeah, my mind is healthy, right? I'm normal. However, my reptilian and my mammalian brains work, that's normal. Well, it feels normal, but it may not be ideal, right? So some people that with a lot of disintegration, they kind of think, oh, nothing's wrong with me. It's fine that you get angry at other people when they give you constructive criticism, right? That seems justifiable. But what we don't maybe have the ability to is our human brain isn't stepping in and saying, hey, look, this isn't an attack. It's actually might be beneficial for you, right? So that I'm kind of skipping ahead. That gets us into the next domino, because when our mind is operating on overdrive for threats and we can't regulate it, then what starts to occur is we start to misencode our world. When our stress response system is working well, it tells us when dangerous things are dangerous and safe things are safe. But when we have disintegration, our body's stress response system is off kilter or immature, and it has a tendency to tell us that safe things are dangerous and dangerous things are safe. Like a picture of a clown is safe. It is not dangerous, but my wife wigs out. The fourth domino then is a narrow window of tolerance. If our mammalian and reptilian brains are operating on overdrive and it's hard for them to regulate, then it's easy for us to get thrown outside of our window of tolerance, right? Small slights can be viewed as big threats. And even with small things, it throws us into fight, flight, or freeze mode. So these are the four dominoes that predictably occur after we experience an event where the stress exceeds our body's ability to handle it. And I think I'm in pretty safe ground to say that all of us have been through some form of trauma that has spurred these domino reactions, which, if we don't do anything about them, they will linger until we do something about them, right? The trauma causes a neurological change, which will stay present until we do something about it, until we heal it.